Hi, I'm Lorraine. Welcome to the District Yoga. Today's restorative practice is just going to be a long legs up the wall pose. And I have all the props, so I'm going to give you the option to pick and choose which ones you want to use. Sometimes you might want some of them, sometimes you might want others, sometimes you might not want any of them. So, find what you have. I here have 2 blankets, a bolster, and a strap. I really like the strap. I am going to use a strap today myself. But again, I'm going to give you a ton of different options to find this pose. It's called legs up the wall. It's wonderful when you really just need to decompress from maybe a stressful day or you've been on your feet a lot. It's really, really wonderful when you've just need kind of a refresh and don't want to get in a full workout, but really want to get something to reset your parasympathetic nervous system. So grab any props that you have or any props that you know you like, maybe even like an eye pillow. I don't have one today, but if you did, that might be nice. I'm going to set up my first blanket. And again, everything that I am telling you today is optional. I'm on hardwood floor, so I'm actually going to unfold my blanket and give myself a little bit of padding underneath me. So if you're on carpet, you might not need to do this. But if you're on hardwood floors and maybe didn't have your mat or anything like that, I like to have the blanket underneath me. And then again, you should have a wall nearby. Um, I'm not going to be super close to the wall. So my butt is not near the wall very closely. In fact, I'm probably maybe 6 inches, maybe even a little bit more, depending on your anatomy, away from the wall. I'm going to leave this blanket off to the side because I'll give you an option for it. So go ahead and find yourself about 6 inches away from the wall. If your head isn't resting on something, option 1, find that blanket. Rest your head there. If you feel like you're still a little bit too far away from the wall, feel free to scoot yourself in just by wiggling the hips side to side and finding your way towards the wall. And then maybe see how this feels. Maybe this feels just right, and you could absolutely stay there. If you felt like you wanted a little bit more support for the low back, that's going to be what the bolster is for. And so really you're just going to press the feet into the wall so that you can lift the hips up and set that bolster underneath the hips. I didn't think I'd like this today, but it actually does feel quite nice. Again, if you lifted the hips up and you felt like, again, you needed to scoot a little bit more forward, you could. I still have a couple inches away from the wall here. So decide if you'd like the bolster or not. Sometimes it's nice to rest the hands along the bolster as well. And then if you're okay there, feel free to stay there. I'm going to adjust since I scooted a little bit more forward. I don't think I need the support underneath my head. But again, if you had a third blanket, that might always also be nice. I'll give you a couple options for the blanket on top of you, especially if you're someone that gets very cold or you're in a cold space. You might like the blanket on top of you. And option 1 for the blanket on top of you is just to find a little bit of weight on top of your belly, maybe on a little bit of the hips and the legs. Option 2, and it's going to take a little bit of finagling, is you're really going to open up the blanket and you're going to sneak your feet inside of the blanket. So I'm kind of bringing it so that the long side of the blanket is going to wrap along my feet. And I have really kind of blanket on both sides so that the wall side has a little bit of blanket. And then the front side of my thighs also has a little bit of blanket here. That already feels really nice for me. If that felt good, stay there. If you felt like you wanted to try it and then you didn't like it, you could always remove it. And I didn't mention this before, but The next one is the strap. You can, if you didn't like the blanket or you felt like you think you're not going to like the blanket with the strap, or it's going to be a little bit more challenging, you could always do this without the blanket and just put the strap around the legs. I'm going to do it inside of the blanket. So I've already kind of bundled my strap up. I'm going to bring it so that it's coming down towards my thighs. And I'm going to strap myself in. Again, if you have the blanket over the legs, a little bit of finagling. We're really just trying to make it tight enough so that the legs aren't splaying out too far. So that feels about right for me. I'm gonna find a place for my hands. Maybe that's underneath the blanket if I had it, maybe on the bolster. And then decide which option you're going to stay with, and we'll be here for a few minutes. I like the support of the strap just because, again, I don't want my legs to really be doing any work here. This pose should feel very soothing as you bring the hips, if you have the bolster, a little bit higher than the heart. You bring the legs above the hips so you allow that blood flow to process down towards your heart. And ultimately, there's nothing to do here. I welcome you to give yourself permission just to rest, to let go of anything that you might have to get to, or anything that happened today or this week. Seeing if you can even relax through the face here. No clenching of the jaw. No squeezing of the eyebrows. Just total rest. Allowing your body to come back to its natural resilience. Gently shifting away from the sympathetic nervous system over to the parasympathetic. Sense of ease washing over you. These calming feelings. doing this practice right before bed. If you are, you can feel free to just slip right into bed. Slowly removing the props one by one. If you did have the strap, just gently start to loosen that up. Again, no rush. Start to place a gentle bend through the knees as you walk the feet down towards the earth. Removing that strap and just giving yourself a little hug. Maybe that blanket's still there. Gently removing that blanket off to the side. And if you did take that support of the bolster, I want you to just rock the knees off to the side and slowly remove that bolster out of the way. Coming into this nice fetal position. Again, no rush. Only when you're ready, pressing your way up and out of this one. We will say that is the end. If you needed more time to stay, you're always more than welcome. Namaste.